Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Witches and Wine. I am your hostess with the mostest, Lola Stardust, and this is the show where we talk about witchy stuff and we drink wine. Clink and drink.
Clink a drink.
Clink and drink. Mm-mm-mm. So before we talk about our awesome topic tonight, we're going to turn it over to Silent as Stardust, and he's going to tell us about the wine we're drinking. Take it away.
Hi guys. Tonight we decided to go with a little celebratory bottle. We're going to talk about elevations and degrees. And I elevated last night to my first degree, and we're celebrating tonight with that. So tonight we chose Marchese DellElsa Moscati D'Asti. It is a sparkling Moscato from the Italy region, up in the northern portion in the D'Asti region. Nice and sweet. Got some peach and apricot notes. Runs you about $15 a bottle. Absolutely wonderful if you like a sweet sparkling wine. I Lola's a big Moscato fan, so we like to celebrate with those for her.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get back to our subject, and we'll talk about what flavor of wine next week.
Thank you, Silenus. So tonight, as my husband and the priest in my coven mentioned earlier, he was elevated to first degree priest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so congratulations, clink and drink.
Thank you.
Mm. Oh, this wine is so good.
Yeah, nice and sweet and fruity.
Sweet, fruity, grapey. It's tingly.
Hi, Madhouse Witch. Thank you for joining us.
There's our coven sister, Clink. She's clinking and drinking with us. Clink and drink. So, yeah, good wine. So, as my husband here said, he was elevated to first degree priest, and it was an amazing ritual. But before we get into what we can talk about, because there's some parts that you just have to experience for yourself.
Yep.
Let's talk about the degrees. Now, a while back in the beginning, in the very early days of Witches and Wine, we had an episode when Morrigan, our coven sister, elevated to third degree. So we just talked about her experience and how she felt. And then we talked about some other stuff, divinations with rocks and stuff like that. But we really didn't touch upon the degree system in covens. So the first thing I want to put out there is every tradition, every coven does it differently. But this is the tradition that I was taught in my previous coven and what we are carrying on in our coven. But there are 3 degrees.
Yep.
I do know some people that have several degrees, and I'm still becoming familiar with that. So I'm not even going to touch upon that. But I'm going to talk about the first 3 degrees. And just a general outline of what that means. So, when in our tradition, when you first join a coven, you don't start off right away as going into a degree. You are called a dedicant. And a dedicant is someone who is interested in what the coven does, but doesn't want to make any huge commitments yet.
It's a filling out time frame.
And goes both ways. It's for the coven to feel out that person and that person to feel out the coven. What you should know about degrees is you are being trained to be clergy. You are being trained to be a priest or priestess in the Wiccan religion by elders in your coven who have earned their third degree and are now ready to teach you and elevate you. So you can do that through a coven. So we do a dedicant. It's the trying out process, and they dedicate for a year and a day. And then if they decide that they want to really commit, and it's not just about committing to the coven, but it's about committing to the craft. It's about saying, yes, I'm going to fully identify as Wiccan. I'm going to practice it. I'm going to preach it. I'm going to learn the ways. So someday, if I want to, not me, but I in general, will start my own coven or teach students, however you want to do that. Because you don't have to have a coven also
Yeah,
to
well,
teach students you can do a one-on-one situation.
I kind of look at it as the difference when you're a dedicant, you're dipping your toe in the pool. When you get your first degree, you're jumping in fully in.
Yeah.
You're making that leap. You're adhering to. I'm gonna follow this practice. I'm actually gonna treat this as a religion, not just as a theory.
Yeah. And so it's a big, when you decide that you want to actually earn your degrees, and again, if anyone gets confused, because there are people that um, sometimes are confused between a degree, like what I got in at the Wolstenstein Theological Seminary. I got a bachelor's degree in Wiccan clergy, but I also have an ordination degree through my coven work, so I kind of got a double whammy. But it depends on how much you want to be recognized as Wiccan clergy, job wise and whatnot. If you want to get a job in clergy, it's possibly a good idea to get a bachelor's degree
Yeah,
in Wiccan
it's not
clergy.
gonna hurt you.
But if you just get your degrees through the coven, you can do, or you
Amazing
can,
coven work.
yes, you can do coven work. You can marry people hand fast. You can do all the things that clergy does, but maybe not have it be recognized by.
It may not be financially solvent for you.
Yeah, but we're not in this for the money. I'll
No,
tell you that.
heavens
Even
no.
getting a degree in Wiccan clergy, I didn't say, "Hey, I want to make a lot of money doing
Lola's
that."
not getting rich off of this.
No, I'm not. There's really not a lot of money involved.
And that's perfectly fine. It's more about the service and
Yeah.
the fact that she and us can dedicate ourselves to the Lord and the Lady.
And we want to help others that are interested in that. So again, it's clergy work.
Yep.
And so then you become a first degree, and when you become a first degree, you're committing yourself. You're saying, I am acknowledging the fact that I am Wiccan. I am studying this. I am devoted to it, and I'm ready. I'm ready for the challenges. So last night he was a dedicant for a year and a day,
Yep.
and we did his elevation to first degree, and there were so many things that were special about it. So I want to turn it over to you and
Okay.
tell us and then we'll talk more about explaining different degrees. But real quick, just explain how it felt. What was your experience?
I can't give you details because it's an experience that you got to go through, but it was an affirmation of everything I felt, and it proved to me that I am following the path that I need to follow, and it was it was the most spiritually emotional event that I've had individually, and to have an experience dedicated just to me, it was truly magical. Coven work and the circle work is amazing, but to have a ritual just for yourself made it that much more
Special.
special. Yeah, where I was fighting back tears at points.
He was, which is
Which I'm not opposed to tears, but I'm not a very emotional person.
he doesn't cry.
I hold my
He
emotions.
cried at the movie $1 Million Baby, and I think that might be one of the last times I saw him cry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, you just looked
no.
at me like, why are you sharing that?
Shh, my story. You told me to tell a story, so I'm telling a story. Don't need to hear about my past stories. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to crying. It does happen on occasion. We're human, and there's nothing wrong with crying, even as a man. Nothing unmanly about crying. But I didn't want to lose it because of how special the experience was. And for those that get to go through it, you'll understand what I'm talking about when you get to go through it.
Yeah, and it's one of the most, because you, like, all the degrees, getting your first, second, third are very special. They're
Yep.
very special, but there's something about, it's almost like, is there something about that first time? It's your first time being acknowledged in the circle and being welcomed to the circle as a priest in the eyes of the gods.
Yep.
And they're there. Like, you feel them there, right?
It's awe-inspiring and humbling and amazing and the greatest feeling ever all at the same time.
Yeah.
It's truly a life-changing experience, and I can't wait to see where it has to go from here on out.
Yeah, and it's there's so much promise and hope in the ritual and being elevated to that, because we're seeing the beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a huge part of what we do too. We like to pass on the tradition. So we had our elders from the community, the ones who initiated me, we had them there to witness this, because I feel that it was important for them to see that their I want to say their little girl, me, who they raised, it was a
Little
special
girl.
thing for me to initiate him, because I had helped with first degree initiations in my old coven, but this was monumental for us, because it was the first one that our coven, Children of the Crossroads, got to do, and I got to do it to my husband, and so that's what she said. So it was very emotional, and it was
It made our bond stronger,
yeah.
and it took it to the next level of where we had a spiritual connection always. Anyways, it's a whole new strengthening of it, and a reconfirmation of where we are and where we're going.
And so it was personally, I mean, everyone's going to have their personal experience with it. Um, but technically, it's, to explain it technically, you're like I said, you're ready to commit, and you're working towards your second degree. Now, other covens do it differently. Some covens take longer, some take shorter. We are working it out as a new coven, because we just celebrated our year anniversary as a coven, the beginning or the first week, second week of January. So
our coven started with my dedication. It was something we've been talking about with our other coven mates, and we officially started it with my dedication.
Well, no, because I did it. It was just me and you.
Yeah, well, I'm saying that's what it started with, my dedication.
But
to you.
the official first one was when we all got together.
Yeah.
Because I dedicated him the beginning of January. He's pouring me more wine.
Good husband.
He's a good husband. He's a good first degree priest, keeping the priestess nice and
It's called the keeper, ladies.
All right, this isn't a dating website. So, anyway, so we're still a very new coven, so we're working it out to see how I want to do a minimum of a year and a day, but some will take longer to get. But so we're not going to talk about how long it takes.
Each person's path is their path.
It's their path, and some people,
and their time frame is their time frame.
Some people just get it, and some people it might take a little longer, and there's no judgment or whatnot. But we want to try to keep a minimum of a year and a day.
Yeah, there's no fast tracking. So,
second degree, when you work up to your second degree, you are, what the tradition that I'm passing on and have come from is that you're now working on being in the community and doing things in the community. Obviously you're still doing your ritual work and your lessons there, but now we're kind of pushing you out into, can you lead a group? Can you speak to other pagans comfortably? Can you guide with supervision? We're not going to throw you out to the wolves and say, okay, now create all this stuff and we'll be back here. No.
Have fun.
Have fun. No, there's supervision. But to me, and what I've learned is it's about getting you out there into the community, because you have to learn in clergy. Again, this is all about clergy, how to deal with different personality types. And you're not going to learn that unless you put yourself out there.
And it's making yourself available.
And making yourself available and learning how to balance.
Yep.
Balance to be there for people and your commitments. How to commit on a level that might have...
Honor your commitments.
Honor your commitments. Hold your commitments. But also, if you can't, understand why you can't hold those commitments. What is keeping you from that? Are you ready to take that step? There's a lot of shadow work. There's a lot of internal going within yourself. Like, yes, putting yourself out there, but in order to put yourself out there with other people, you need to be comfortable with yourself and know that, okay, I'm going to be around all kinds of personalities, and some might rub me the wrong way.
Yep.
Why do those personalities rub me the wrong way?
Is it on
And
my end or is it on their end?
or is it on both
yeah,
ends?
is it just a communication we don't connect?
Yeah, and so that is a really important lesson to learn. I've always been pretty lucky on that end where I'm very comfortable in social situations. I'm very comfortable talking with other people, interacting with other people. And I always thought that, well, everyone should be that way, but that's a rarity. A lot of people are, some people just don't have those skills, but that's not even it. Some people are just petrified of putting themselves out there. And if you're working towards clergy, you do put yourself out there. You do need to make yourself available and understand. There's a certain skill of not certain listening, understanding, teaching,
empathizing,
connecting, and connecting. Yeah,
and the whole time not being judgmental no matter what you're being told, because we all have our flaws, and
we're all judgmental.
Yep. we are, but to try to be minimize it, because you know what, none of us are perfect.
No,
we've all made mistakes, we've all done stupid things,
and it's such a great learning experience too, because then you start to really learn about what you can handle, what you can't handle, and what your boundaries are, because it really is about that shadow work, and it really is about what you can do and what you can bring to the table as a spiritual advisor or a spiritual person. You haven't, you will. Yeah. Officially, you're starting but, as of today.
But I've always kind of done it anyways in our coven, where if they need a priest side of energy, because I'm the only male in our coven, as we've spoken before in previous episodes, so I have to maintain that male role for all aspects for everyone. And so I've had to be a priest even though I wasn't a first degree in many aspects.
He learned, we gave him the year in a day, and he was just kind of pushed into it because of his relationship with me, but that's another story. So that's another topic. But anyway, so second degree is the community. And then you get to start working on your third degree. And your third degree is now leadership. Yep, it's now it's leadership. It's being, you can
it's being administrative. It's leading, whether it's from the front or the back. It's leading in ways.
Well, it's both a lot. Yeah. I mean, I'm finding as a high priestess of a coven, I'm out front, but there's so much behind the scenes stuff that I do, and I enjoy doing that, and I'm learning to organize and do that, but I'm also learning to balance, because I don't want to lose sight of my worship and the magic. And because we're such a small coven and a new coven, a lot of it falls on me, and that's okay, but I'm delegating, and I'm giving people more administrative stuff to do, but that's a lesson for me to learn, because I got to learn how to do that, and I got to learn what can I do and what can others do to help. And so it's a whole different kind of way of thinking when you become your third degree. When you are working, once you get your third degree, you can hive off of your coven, you can form your own coven, you can teach students. Now, in our tradition, I know that people of the woods, that I came from, when you became a second degree, you could hive off and form a coven, but you were under the elders. What do you call that?
Guidance.
Thank you. Their supervision.
Yeah, under their umbrella, where you weren't off on your own, being able to do anything. When decisions were made, you still had to refer back to them and confer with them until you elevated with them to your third degree.
So, we had people of the woods. We had two clink. Supervision.
We see you. We're
supervising you, Isleen. Our coven sister she's madhouse on there. She's making comments. Wait, I gotta take a drink.
Yeah, you can clink, but you gotta drink.
I know, it's not it doesn't have, it's like a spell. It's an unfinished spell. You have to clink and drink.
Yeah.
Telling all of you witches this, clink and drink. Yeesh.
And anyone in the audience, if you're drinking with us, that makes it so much more awesome.
Yeah, so you can clink and drink. Clink and drink us.
At your screen, whatever it is, to join in. When
Don't
you do
break it, though. And don't break the glass.
And don't spill.
And don't spill. So, we, people of the woods, had 2 covens hive off. They had one coven where he decided at second degree to start his coven under their supervision. I decided that I was just going to go all the way through, and then once I became a third degree, I would break off completely from the coven. Not completely like, no more of you, but where I didn't have to have that supervision, because if anyone knows me, I don't like to be supervised.
She's not fond of being told what to do.
I don't like it. No.
14 years, and she still tells me F you whenever I tell her to do
something.
something.
Oh, bullshit.
Honey, go make me a sandwich.
Fuck you.
Exactly what I just said.
So anyway, so I did it, and whatever works for you. I did it where I just was like, got my third degree, had the people that wanted to come with me, and we just went and did it. And our first year has been a huge learning experience, and this year will be too, because we are starting all sorts of new things in our coven. We are taking on possible dedicants. We are wanting, as soon as the weather gets better. Wine is good.
As long as the weather gets better.
The weather gets better. We'll start doing more local and public things. Yeah. But so anyways, that's kind of how the degrees work. Again, there might be people that look at this later and say, well, that's not what ours taught. No, I'm just giving you...
Whatever your practice is, that's right for you guys, and so be it. What's right for us is right for us.
And put it on the comments. Yeah. Say, ours does it this way, or message us, or whatever. Because I want to learn. I know about a couple different traditions. I'm just telling you about our tradition, and I'm giving you a really, gloss over, what do you call that?
A top view,
just very skimming,
a top-down view of that.
Yes, of it. I'm not getting, there's more to it, but I'm trying to make it as general as possible. So where are we at? We're at 22 minutes. So I think we're good. Yep. Yeah. So is there anything else you want to say about? We talked about the experience of elevation. Is there anything?
Well, I was really excited to go through it as being the elevation. I can't wait to experience it, seeing someone else elevated. Talking to you, Asleen. Yours is coming up soon.
Madhouse.
Yep.
But, yeah.
And get to see what your experience is, or other experiences down the line for people. Because it was a truly different experience. Where my dedication experience was amazing. Supervision. Clink and drink with us.
Clink and drink. Clink and drink.
But the dedication was amazing, but the first degree elevation was so much more.
The perspective of the candidate that's going through it is a very different experience, and I remember mine, and I remember it was very magical and it was beautiful, and people who've read about it. You kind of know what's going to happen, but you don't know because you're.
I'm gonna be right back because I'm gonna show him my certificate.
Oh yes, yeah, he's so proud. Oh, he's so proud. So another really awesome thing is he did mention the name that he was coming into the circle as a first degree, and he's been Silenus. But when there's a part when we say what name will you be known as, and he said Silenus Stardust, and so he took my last name, because officially, unofficially, we're kind of a Stardust coven. Yeah. My coven understands; they know what it is.
They're not required to take Stardust.
No one's required to take my last name.
But we don't.
But we did say
don't
earlier.
Discourage it.
But we did say earlier, Isleen Stardust sounds really good.
Yes, it does. But
just saying.
I want to show you what my degree looks like. We found these and put them together for our coven, and there you go.
Yep.
That's who I am.
And then look at our logo. We even got our logo on there.
Pinky, right down here.
Yeah.
Yep. So COTC. So Children of the Crossroads. So yeah. Never been so proud of doing something like this. The first multiple 30 years of my life. Never in a million years would I guess would I be a priest of any religion, let alone Wiccan.
When I
And
first,
here I am, and it is truly special and amazing, and I couldn't be prouder and more excited to see where it takes me.
I love you.
I love
When
you.
I first got together with this guy over here, this guy right here, he was not spiritual. He was spiritual, but he was not religious.
No.
And I was always a big religion fan. I loved all religions. I loved the worship and all that. And so to see him come this far, and I did not push him. Like, I was surprised that I don't want anyone out there to think, well, of course he's in it because his wife probably. No,
Free will the whole way, and that's,
we don't push it.
Nope, and that's what the craft is about. It's all about free will.
It's free will.
If you're not doing free will, then you're not practicing properly,
Yeah.
and you need to stop.
Yeah, this is free will. We don't recruit people. We don't go out and say, hey,
we don't force anyone to do
no.
anything.
You find us. You find your people, and when you find them and you say, I'm curious, and we will guide you, and then if you're like, I want to commit, we're like, awesome. If you're like, I don't want to commit, we're like, awesome.
So be it.
And
our
yeah.
relationship with them doesn't change.
Yeah.
We love them as the same as we did as before or after.
Yeah, and so with him, us being together, I just did what I was doing, and he started kind of peeking around and going, what's this? And then it was a Spring Mysteries that he went to that changed him, and we've talked about that
I had
before.
spiritual feelings for the first time that was known to be spiritual, where before I'd found it through other avenues, but didn't know it was on a spiritual level, where this is the first time the religion had ever spoken to me, and now that I've started going down the path and learning more about it, this is my calling.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
So, anyways, well, thank you, everyone, for joining us, and remember, if you want to be a guest on our show, if you have any questions or suggestions, then please email us at
crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
What was that?
crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
All right, so remember to be kind to one another and always walk with the goddess. And until next time, blessed be and clink.
Clink and drink.
Clink and drink. Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.
And we'll have an after party here in a few moments.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're going to do a live after party with our herb cards. Bye. I don't know how to stop this. We're still on.